Well, hello again. It's me, your girl Sharika, your good sis, and we are here talking, traveling, walking, living through the Bible. I'm just gonna jump in right in. Um, we're at Genesis 29. There was a lot of stuff happening in Genesis 29, y'all. It really did. So we know we had Jacob arrives at Paddan Aram, and we know this because of what happened with the brother, right? With Jacob doing a deceiving, the brother deceived, somebody did some deceiving. In my eye, they all did some deceiving. So there is that. But yeah, we're here at Paddan Aram now. We're out of the NLT Bible. So then Jacob hurried on, finally arriving in the land of the east. He saw a well in the distance. 3 flocks of sheep and goats lay in an open field beside it, waiting to be watered. But a heavy stone covered the mouth of the well. And it was the custom there to wait till all the flocks arrived before removing the stone and watering the animals. Afterward, the stone would be placed back over the mouth of the well. And Jacob went over to the shepherds and asked, "Where are you from, my friends?" They said, "We're from Haran, Haran." They answered, "Do you know a man named Laban, the godson of Nahor?" And they were like, "Yes, we do." And Jacob pretty much asked how was he doing and all. And they was like, "Look, here comes his daughter now with her flock." Okay. And Jacob said, "Well, it's still broad daylight. It's too early to be rounding up the animals. Why don't you just water the sheep and goats so they can go back to the pasture?" Long story short, Jacob saw Rebekah. And when Jacob saw her, he kissed her and he wept aloud. And he basically told her who he was. So she ran to her father, who was Laban, told him about Jacob. Laban ran out to meet him, hugged them, embraced him. You ain't seen your family member in a long time. You run out, you embrace them. Okay, so then the next one was Jacob marries Leah and Rachel. Okay, so Laban had 2 daughters, Leah and Rachel. And there was no sparkle in Leah's eyes, but Rachel had a beautiful face and a beautiful figure. So one was a beauty queen and one was ugly duckling. Leah is the oldest daughter and Rachel is the youngest daughter. So Jacob, when he laid eyes upon Leah, he wanted her. He was like, "Look, Laban, I will work 7 years for you if you'll give me Rachel as my wife," because he was beyond in love with her. And so Laban agreed. So Jacob worked for those 7 years, and his love for, this was love. His love for her was so strong that it only seemed like a few days to him. That was very sweet. So when the time came, he told Laban, "Yo, give me my wife so, I can go ahead and go to bed with her." And so Laban prepared a wedding feast. He invited everyone. But guess what happened? Y'all, guess what happened? That very night, look at your neighbor and say, that very night. Laban, he took Leah in to Jacob, and Jacob slept with her. Laban had given Leah a servant, Zilpah, to be her maid. So when Jacob got up the next morning, he didn't realize that it was Leah and not Rachel. He was beyond the level of festivity. Now, I have a question. I always have a Sharika-ism in between. I wonder how dark was it that night for him not to realize who it was, that he slept with. Did he not look her in the face? Because, you remember that it says that Rachel was not the most prettiest thing ever seen, that Leah had some, what would my daughter say? She was facially challenged. But Rachel was beautiful. So did he not look in her face when he was sleeping with her? Was it just a mechanical situation? What was going on? or unless Leah was not as ugly as it seemed, or was he just so drunk from the festivities till, you know, he just didn't even think about it? Or did he just not realize that his uncle was just as much of a trickster as he was, and that he was going to trick him that night? And did he not know the culture, the rules, the regulation of the people, that, you know, the oldest daughter had to get married first before the younger one? Or again, did he just not feel like his uncle was going to deceive him like that? So, and you know, Laban had to be planning this all along, had this plan stirring all along from the moment that Jacob asked for Rebekah. Ain't no telling how long that Laban had this plan. So, trickery runs in the bloodline, seem like it. So those were just questions and concerns, that I had as a Sharika. But anyway, so Jacob was livid. He was hot. He was hot. He was pissed. Wouldn't you be? He said, "Why did you trick me?" And Laban said, "Well, it is our custom for the oldest daughter to get married first, and then the younger daughter." Again, sir, why you didn't tell him this up front? Why you didn't tell him this? In a way, you want to say that, that he was being a good father, looking out for Leah, because maybe that was the only way that she was going to get married, was through a trick. Ain't no telling, because it's really just telling the story of the right now. There's no telling how many men was interested in Rachel, and because they knew of the custom, and they knew that Laban was not going to allow this to happen without Leah getting married first. And they was like, "Nah, dog, we ain't supposed to do that, because we don't want her. We just want Rachel." So yeah. So Jacob agreed to work another 7 years for Rachel because he loved her so. So Laban did give Rachel to Jacob after the week of that he married Leah. So Laban gave Rachel a servant as well, Bilhah, to be her maid. Now Jacob wanted Rachel bad, real bad. That's a good 14 years of your life that you have promised to work for somebody else. But then again, don't we do the same thing? Don't we work for somebody else, and the only thing that we get rewarded out of it is pay, maybe a little 401k, insurance, and things of that nature? When you talk about it and come to think about it, we basically do the same thing and come out with less. So yeah, and I hate that I went to thinking. I'm like, now how many of us have been deceived for a good $18.50 an hour, a good $20 an hour, maybe a good $30? How many of us have been deceived through the job that promised us something upon sign? Think about it. Your job promised you something upon signing, but then as the years went along, it kind of wavered a little bit. Like with this job where I work at, I am an insurance agent, and I'm not going to say for what company. We have plenty of people calling in angry and upset because their premium has changed. Okay, the premium that they agreed upon signage, somehow, some way, some changes have occurred and slipped in that the people not paying attention had no clue about. And so the increase occurred, and now your $100 note ended up being $200, $300. So now you got people calling and very upset. So again, how many of us, when we signed on a dollar dime, we agreed to something, and then as time went by, it ended up being something completely different? Something to think about. Okay, so again, he agreed to do 7 more years for Rachel. So we should ask ourselves, how much extra are you prepared to do in order to get the life that you want? I mean, don't be out here killing, stealing, and all of those things. I'm not talking about illegal stuff, because I don't watch so many American gangster movies and things of that. There are people doing things wrong in order for them to have these big fancy houses and things like that. But how many of you know that it takes more than houses and lands and money in order to actually make you happy? Baby, I don't care what nobody say. I done seen Beyonce on TV, and she got everything, but baby, I don't really see happiness up on her face. I don't. I really don't. There's a lot of them. They look like they're just robotic, like they don't have no say-so or none whatsoever over their life. Honey, that's not freedom. You still in a captive state because somebody else is ruling you, telling you how to live, what to do, when to do, why to do. You just get paid more money for doing it, and we get paid less for our jobs for doing it. But again, I was not trying to go there. This man worked for 14 years. That was just how bad that he wanted Rachel. Are you willing to go without so that you can have the life that you want? Are you willing to cut people off in order to have peace of mind? What are you willing to do and in order for you to have real happiness in your life? I already told you several videos earlier, you are not too old. God is not restricted by age, by nothing really. If God doesn't restrict you, why are you restricting and limiting yourself? And I really think it's a sin for us to do that to ourselves, because if God didn't put restrictions on you, why you put restrictions on him? Why you put restrictions on you? God said you are able to do all things through him, because he's going to give you the strength to do it. If it is in his will, you can do it. You are created to win, and you are made for so much more. I just don't believe God created us to struggle, but we take it on and we wear it like clothes. We say our parents were poor, so we're going to be that way too. No, it's time to pull off that negative mindset. It's time to pull all of that off. We're in 2024, and a lot of us, it baffles me that I look on Facebook and other places, and people been posting the same statements, the same thing that they was posting 20 years ago. Well, when Facebook first came out, you've been posting the same thing, complaining about the same thing. If your life have not changed, you need to get off Facebook and try to figure out what it is that you are doing wrong, that your life has not changed. It is something that done fell out of line in your life that is making your life go the same exact way. Baby, you need to seek and search God and ask him, God, what is it? What do I need to change? So Romans 8:16-17 said that we are the children of God, and if children, then heirs, heirs of God and joint heirs with Christ. We used to sing a song that says, my Father is rich in houses and lands, and he holds the wealth of the world in the palm of his hand. Psalms 24 says, the earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof, meaning everything that is in it, the world and all the people belong to God. There are plenty more scriptures of God's greatness, his love for us, and how he wants us to win. We are the ones who limit ourselves, and we also limit God. Because really, truth be told, point blank period, you really don't believe. You don't believe that God is going to do it for you. You see God do it for somebody else, but you don't believe that God can do it for you. You'll tell somebody else it must be nice. It is nice. Why? Because they decided to go above hope, beyond hope, and believe that God had that life for them. They was ready to turn out everything, go the extra mile in order to receive the blessing from God. God has a good life for us. Many people say that this is the year of the open door, 5784, where now new pathways will be revealed, new blessings will be flowing abundantly. So let's gather our hearts and seek God for insight into what lies ahead. So what are you willing to go through in order to get the life that you want? Are you willing to sacrifice your time? Are you willing to sacrifice your plans? Are you willing to sacrifice whatever it takes in order to get the life that you want? And I'm pointing at you, but I got 3 pointing back at me as well, and this thumb don't know which way it want to go. What are we willing to sacrifice in order to get where we need to be in this life, in order to be who God has called us to be? The Bible says, Proverbs 16:9 says, a man's heart plans his course, but the Lord order our steps. So continue to let God order your steps, so he will lead you and guide you into all righteousness. Y'all have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye.
Thank you for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.